Hello, everybody. All right, this is Japanese 101, Japanese in a nutshell. I'll just break it down. Number one, there better be a good reason you're learning Japanese. It takes a long time for an English learner to learn Japanese. And if you do decide to learn Japanese, prepare to invest a lot of time in it. Although I have apps on my phone and things that make it really easy. You don't have to necessarily sit down at a computer and learn like back in the day or read books or whatever. I have apps where I can listen to it in my car or study it on my break at work or whatever. So Japanese can be as hard or difficult as you need or want to make it. So I wouldn't want to shy anybody away because of the difficulty. Basically, right now it's a life choice, it's a lifestyle, it's something I do every day, and something I enjoy. I mean, it's fun seeing the progress and seeing what I've accomplished. So, a couple basic things about the language. Reading, writing, I'd say extremely difficult to learn. There's thousands of characters. There's 3 writing systems. One system borrowed from China. There's no spaces. Sometimes they write, from up to down, left to right. I mean, so prepare if you want to learn to read and write. Prepare to invest a lot of time in that. I'm still, let's see, I know 40%. This sounds horrible, but 40% only of their kanji characters, and I don't even know them fully. I'm familiar with them. The good news is, I mean, for like basic stuff, you don't need to know, everything. So if you're going over there to visit, you just need to know, hey, what does the street sign say? What does this menu say? Or, that kind of thing. Speaking it, it's kind of hard to explain. I'm going to try and explain it. So speaking Japanese and listening is it's easy and it's difficult at the same time. Let me explain that. Number one, the sounds. The sounds are so, in my opinion, different. Well, I mean, they're not different, but it's just the way they use the sounds. And so, for example, like if you're learning Spanish, the sounds are pretty similar. Let's say, biblioteca. I mean, you listen to that, you might not know what that means, but you could probably repeat that pretty easily, right? Biblioteca, or something like that. Or anyway, but in Japanese, I believe the word is toshokan, and I don't know, maybe you can say that right away, maybe not, but it's so foreign to the English ear, at least when I started, that that's part of it. So you have to get used to these new sounds. You got to get used to speaking these new sounds. Also, what makes it easier, in a way, is it's the simplicity. So they don't have the word for the. They don't have the word. I mean, they kind of do. They don't have plurals, right? So you can say book, but you can't say books necessarily. It's just book. So let's say you want to say there's 5 books. You say book. 5 there are. In fact, they would say, it's kind of like, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like they have these counters to represent things. So let's say, like in English, this is an easy way to put it. So like, paper. I have a sheet of paper. I have, 10 sheets of paper. So it's kind of like in Japanese, they use that word sheet to describe how many of something. But I think that illustrates how, you got something that's simple. There's only sheet, right? There's no sheets. Well, in English, we don't have sheets either. Well, we kind of do. We do, yeah, 10 sheets of paper, whatever. But anyway, yeah, but you wouldn't say, well, you could say papers. Anyway, I digress here. But you can see where, something that's simple you know, hey, we don't have a plural like dog. We don't have. You can't say dogs. There's no, you know, the word for dog is inu. You can't say inus. There, you know, so, and they don't use pronouns a lot. For example, saying anata, that's the word for you, can be very familiar or rude, or depending on how you put it. They put the verb at the end of the sentence, but at the same time, it can be very simple. For example, like you could say tabeta, right? I'll type it out here for you, tabeta, and that's the informal way of saying I ate. But it also could mean we ate. So I'll just type it up. It's gonna be we ate. It could be I ate. It could be he ate. It could be she ate. Or it could be they ate. So look how simple. There's 3 characters, right? It could be 1, 2, 3, 4. That could be 5 different things, right? And that's kind of the power of Japanese. You can just say tabeta, right? We ate, or tabeta, I ate. And you can add, like, you know, you can say I specifically. Watashi wa. Whoops. Watashi wa. And notice how there's no spaces here, right? So this is how it would look if we're using English in a way. We put spaces, right? So this is the word for I. In fact, here's the kanji. And this is wa. Watashi wa. Tabeta. So, but watashi is I. But a lot of times, Japanese don't use that. They just say tabeta. And you just know, right? If I go up to you and say tabeta, like you're talking about, you know, some food. Or maybe you ask me, you know, what did you eat last night? You know, you can say something tabeta. But anyway, so you can see how, you know, it's much more simple, right? But at the same time, it can be vague. People call it a contextual language. It's all, well, not all, but a lot of it is just based on context. So again, it's very simple, but at the same time, it makes it more complicated. So that's why, in a way, that's why I like Japanese, because it's fascinating. It forces you to think in a different way. Also, the sentences are kind of backwards. You know, and not a negative way, but like, you know, like for example, sushi. We all know that word, right? Sushi, sushio. So, you know, so you have to think in a different way. Sushi o tabeta. I ate sushi, right? That's the word for sushi right here. So, and you can just say sushi o tabeta, and that could mean, again, we ate sushi, or whoops, where's my English? Sushi, or I ate sushi, you know, etc. So, but you have to think backwards. So in English, it'd actually be, if it's literal translation, sushi I ate, sushi we ate, sushi they ate, sushi he ate. But one tip for you is that, you know, when you're learning Japanese, try not to think of it literally. Like, try not to think sushi I ate. You know, you need to think of the actual like real translation. You know, like with this one, I ate sushi. And it's hard because it's the words are in a different order. But I like to think of it like this, like with Japanese, you're setting up the stage first, right? And so I think this will really help everybody. You have to set up the stage in that, you know, the Japanese say, you know, what time something happened, and then where it happened, and then who it happened to, and then, you know, and then finally you get to the end, and it's like there's the verb, right? The verb kind of completes, like it's like the last piece of the puzzle. But they like to set up, you know, with their language, they set up the scene, you know, like last week, a book, my friend to me gave, right? So so you're really going to have to get used to. I think that's probably the hardest part for me, is getting used to that the word order and how that works. So I would say, and this sounds really silly, but I would say, just spend like a week, just look at things and try and think of it in that way. Just like for example, like looking at the fan over there, the fan, in the room, the fan is blowing in the room, fan air is blowing, right? It's even hard to kind of think about it in English. So that's the major hurdle. But yeah, but I've had a lot of fun learning Japanese. There's so many resources online, free resources. I mean, I haven't really paid a lot to learn Japanese. I use this website. Might as well just put it here. It's called I Know. So www.iknow.jp, I believe. Let me make sure I got that right. 1 second. Where is my I Know? Yeah, I'm right. So anyway, so I Know is a SRS. If you don't know what an SRS is, it's called Space Repetition System, I believe. Anyway, it's really cool. It gives you some words, right? And you try and memorize them, and the computer somehow knows when you're about to forget them. And it's like flashcards. It'll say, okay, here's your next flashcard. Just before you forget it, you're going to review this again. And I guess there's some science study that says, the best time to review something is just before you forget it. So anyway, long story short is with this SRS method, you can learn things and retain them longer and learn them faster. So I think I pay, I don't know, it's like $80 for a year or something. I mean, it's a lot up front, but over the year, I get so much use out of this thing. My other advice is, besides the SRS, is to listen to Japanese every single day. And that goes for any language, whether it's French, German, Klingon, whatever. You just listen to it every single day. In the car, wherever, at home, like before bed, when you get up. I used to, not so much anymore, but like every time I'd wake up, I'd play Japanese sentences from my I Know app and listen to them before bed. And now I usually watch anime. But the point is, get some source of authentic content from your target language. Listen. The magic number someone just plucked out of the air is like 10,000 hours, right? So if you listen to 10,000 hours of any language, you'll just know it. There's a theory. In fact, I know this. Well, I don't know him personally, but there's this guy. His name's Katsumoto, but he's American. I don't know what his real name is, but anyway, he came up with a system called AJATT. It's called All Japanese All the Time, and his method is you listen every day, all day, as much as you can, until it just sinks in. And that's what language is. When you're listening, that's your listening skill, right? And you're speaking. So I mean, think about like kids when they learn their language, like English or whatever. They listen until they get that ear for it, and then they start speaking, right? So I think that's just key. I think that's the biggest advice I can give someone, is to listen until you can speak. If you start speaking right away, I mean, I'm not saying don't speak, but I'm saying, like, if you're trying to speak to, like Japanese people or people of your target language, and and you get these bad habits because you speak too soon. So I would say don't sweat speaking right away. I mean, do practice. I mean, I do. You know, you're gonna sound crazy, you know, but you know, repeat things and talk. You know, people are gonna think you're talking to yourself. But just you know, just go do your thing. I'm losing track here, but yeah, just you know, it takes time. You just have to do it every day, and but yeah, look up AJAT, AJAT and Katsumoto. I mean, even if you're not even learning a language, AJAT is going to really teach you some things about learning and about persistence and about you know, just being, you know, just living life, because life is hard enough. Japanese is hard, life is hard. But yeah, just one more thing before I go. He has this philosophy called +1, and it's the simplest philosophy ever. You know, you take what you've learned, right, and you add 1. That's it. And if you do that every day, who knows where you're going to be? I mean, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, if most people have, hopefully, you know, time on this planet, and you know, and if you don't have time, don't study Japanese. You're going to be wasting your time. Do something else. But yeah, I have time. In fact, you know, I had mono. I want to say for a couple years there. Feels like anyway, at least a year. Yeah, at least a year. And you know, I couldn't do much. I couldn't even get out of bed. Some days, I mean, if you don't know what mono is, I can't even describe it. It's yeah, but look it up. But anyway, I couldn't function. I couldn't even brush my teeth half the time. You know, I couldn't even eat. There was a point where I was hungry. I couldn't even pick up the phone and dial for pizza. You know, but with +1, you know, it's just do what you can, right? If you want to run a marathon, do you go outside and just, oh, I'm gonna be a marathon runner, right? Nope. You're gonna go outside and that's it. Katsumoto says, put your shoes on, go outside. That's it. And if you feel like walking around the block, right? And maybe, you know, maybe if you feel like jogging a little bit, but you have to put yourself in that position to do what you want, right? So if you're sitting on the couch watching TV, that's not +1. That's -1. That's just, you know, because you're not going to run a marathon on your couch. So so I think this applies, you know, obviously to learning languages. Just do +1 every day. Learn a new word every day. Learn a new character every day. Maybe learn a new sentence every day. Do what you can. Use what you know and add 1 to it. And who knows where you're going to be. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I did this at random, but I thought maybe someone would enjoy learning about Japanese. If you want to know more, if I should make another episode, whatever you want to know, put it in the comments, and I'll make another video. If not, I'll assume that nobody cares about Japanese, and they don't want to learn it. I don't know. But there's, one other thing. I almost forgot. This other guy, there's a system called Japanese from 0. If I can spell it. And I would highly recommend. Yeah, don't listen to me. Watch this guy. His name's George Tromley. He lived in Japan for a little bit when he was younger. His dad brought him over there, and he learned Japanese, and he teaches it online for free on YouTube. So go to YouTube, look up Japanese from 0, George Tromley. This guy is so good. I can't say enough good things about this guy. So, but he just kind of takes you from, you know, step 1, you know, watashi wa, you know, I, you know, and just builds on things. And so I'd highly recommend, you know, buying his books, watching his videos. I mean, even if you have no money, you can watch his videos and learn some Japanese. But and that applies for any language. I mean, with the internet nowadays, I mean, there's so many resources to learn anything you want. I mean, I could spend a lot of time on that, but anyway, I'm gonna cut this off again. If you want to see anything else, just put it in the comments. Talk to you later.